It has been an exciting couple months for you, so we're so excited to see you back here in Charlotte. I guess just first of all, what's just the feeling of being ready to start off a new season?
Yeah, I mean, for me it's amazing because obviously I love playing the game, and to be back in Charlotte, it's a wonderful city, great fans, and a great environment for myself, and I think it just puts me up for success, so I'm definitely excited.
So obviously you've had more of an interesting offseason than your typical.
Yes, I did.
Getting your first call-up with the U.S. men's national team, going to the January camp. Not only just getting the call-up, but of course you made quite the impact.
Yeah.
When you look back at that time right now, what are the feelings that you kind of think about when you think about what you were able to accomplish?
For me, it was obviously, I always was hoping to get invited, and I just, I can only control so much, so just obviously hoping that they put the trust in me, and they did, and once I got there, I said, all right, now I got to do what I know I can do, and hopefully leave my mark. And for me, it was just trying to do the little things right, focus on the little details of myself, and of course, getting better and get my fitness up, because for us, it's still preseason. But when the games came, you can only hope for goals and all these things until it actually comes, and I just said as long as I get one or two, that'd be great. And actually for it to come to pass, it was like, oh shoot, this is real, But when I look back, it's just amazing because from a couple years from where I've been and to be in that position, it's like all the work I've been putting in is paying off.
Your journey to get to this seat right now has been pretty well documented now.
Yeah.
People are using you as a prime example of what can happen if you work hard, essentially.
Yeah.
From going from D3 to playing with the men's national team. We're seeing that story everywhere.
Yeah.
What is that like for you to be that example, I guess, for others of what you can do with hard work?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, because I've gotten discouraged in the past, not knowing what the journey and the path will be. I just had the thought and the hope to make it, So now that I can be like a role model in that degree, it just makes me happy because I know more people are gonna put in more effort no matter where they're from, because that's my key quote, is just, it doesn't matter where you're from, it only matters where you end up, So for me, it's seeing that, and I get the messages, people telling me I'm so thankful for your story and all these things. It's for me, it's a great feeling. So now I hope I can just keep going on it and keep motivating people and myself.
You said you had a quote that you like to think of. There's another one that I saw that was pinned to your Twitter account that says, always remember your why.
Yep.
So you wrote that back in May of 2020.
Yep.
I would just kind of want to circle back to that thought
crazy.
of what is your why? As you're now sitting here, as you've now accomplished so much since that point, when you were in college, you weren't even in the league yet, and here you are now. What is the why that has been grounding you throughout this whole journey?
If I'm honest, it's my family and my faith. I'm a firm believer in just as long as I trust in God and trust in the plan for me, everything will work out. I grew up in a praying household, and my family they always humble me and make sure I stay humble and grounded. But watching my family, my mom, my dad work so much and all these things, it's this is who I want to do it for. I want to be able to give back for them because they sacrificed so much for me and my brothers, and now I want to give back. So I always have them in my mind when I play. Everything I want to do my 100% for them, and that's why I think I always put it as my why.
That's your why?
Yeah.
No, I know you've talked about how your parents have worked a lot, your mom working multiple jobs. When you think about the sacrifice that they've done for you and your brothers, is there any stories that I guess stand out to show, hey, this is what they're going through to help me position myself to be the successful soccer player and person that I am today?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think what sticks out to me is when I was in college, and my parents would always try to come to my games on the weekends, and that's their day offs usually. Usually Saturday is one of their biggest day off, and that's the first day off of the week, and they're so tired, and yet they'll be the first one at my game trying to support me and all these things, watching the whole game, staying after, bringing me food, all these things that they know I love, and they just go out their way to do it, and they go back home, they're beyond tired, and when you see that often. And then when I went to Rhode Island, the same thing, still trying to make it up, still trying to be there for me no matter what, even though they're going through all that. And when you see that every day, it's I have to give back. I have to reward them to some degree for all their hard work, because they never pressured me. They never said you have to do this, you have to do that. They just said, follow your dreams and we'll support you throughout the way. And when you have that support, you feel unstoppable.
Do they come out to Charlotte often?
They've been twice or once so far. I'm gonna this year, hopefully, we can get them more. You know, schedule alignment is difficult, still working and stuff, so it's definitely still hard, but they still try, and that's for me is most important. When I play up north, they always try to go to the games, so it's nice.
When you got that call that you'd be invited to the January camp, what was their response?
Yeah, it was amazing because, you know, I told my brother was with me when I first got the call. We were training with one of my close friends, and we got home. My dad got home, and he just got back from work, and he's getting ready to go back to the second job. And I just said, "Dad, sit down for a little bit before you get ready," you know. And I told him, and he just like, he kind of couldn't believe it. I could see his eyes getting a little teary because, you know, like he's realizing all the things he's sacrificed is paying off in my life and my brothers and everything, and it's just crazy to see it, you know. So he couldn't believe it. My mom came back from work, and then I told her, and she was the same. And I know they definitely cried multiple times because I kind of sensed it. And I think before I left, they just were like, "Pat, are you serious? Are you really going to camp? Like, this is real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going. You want to see the email?" But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to see that.
When you look back at young Pat, do you think young Pat would ever imagine he'd be where he is right now?
He dreamed about it.
Yeah.
He definitely dreamed about
But
it.
it's so easy, I feel like, to say retroactively, like, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Or,
Yeah.
I always felt like I could do this.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
actually be in the position where you are now.
Little Pat would be like, "Oh wow, really?" You know, we dreamed about it, but relatively, when growing up, everyone wants to be a professional soccer player to some degree, especially if you played. But you know, he'd be so surprised and so happy, just the fact that like everything in his mind, he always believed he was gonna make it some degree. He always thought he backed himself, but he just never knew if it was actually coming to pass. But for it to come to pass is crazy.
So you're about to enter a new season with Charlotte FC. You just had the season opener this past weekend, getting ready to play at home again in front of the fans here. When you think about last year and what you were able to accomplish on the pitch, what are you hoping to take from that and as you're moving forward into a new year with Charlotte FC?
I think for me, individually, I don't want last year to seem as if it was a fluke. I want to be a main staple on this team and help this team win games, and I want to do my part, which is scoring goals, assisting, being hard to deal with up front, and definitely being a leader, you know. I think as long as I do the things I know I can control, my teammates back me, the coaching staff backs me to be one of the best. So I think I just need to control that and ultimately just have fun with it as well. I think as long as I do what I know I can do, stay safe and protect myself in every way, I think everything will set us up for success.
Earlier this week when we spoke with Zaha for the first time, he mentioned you as someone who has kind of come to him, maybe looking for advice a little bit, even just these early weeks that he has been on this team. He said, "Oh yeah, I really love having these conversations with Pat because I feel like I can impart this wisdom with my experience, my resume." What has it been like in these early stages of getting to work alongside him?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, initially I seen the reports, I'm like, "Oh, this is real," you know? But you get a player that's of his caliber, you know, in the Premier League, one of the best wingers, you know, he's in the conversation. So to have him come to the club and now I get to work with him, and obviously he's older and he's more experienced than me, I get to just ask him questions and he straight gives me advice, you know? And now I'm going to play with him, and I want to build that connection with him because I think if we're able to all click, and I think going forward, if we're able to click as well, I think it's just going to open up a lot of space for us to score goals and have a lot of success. So I think as long as I keep connecting with him and understanding his game more and he understands my game, I think anything can happen.
What do you think the expectations are for this team this year?
Yeah, I think relatively higher than last year, definitely. Last year, I think we were looked down upon, which cool, but I think we ended up 5th in the Eastern Conference and relatively close to going far. So I think this year, with the pieces we added and the pieces we still have, I think it could be a really good year for us. And I think top 4 is definitely ideal.
For you personally, I know it's so easy to say from the outside, be where your feet are, that expression where you want to be in the moment, be where you are. It's hard to avoid hearing maybe some rumors, things like that as well. I'm sure you've probably heard things as well regarding your future as well. What do you just think about, you know, in terms of the idea that you are being sought after, that you are here right now? What are your ideas of where you would like to be?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's my focus is here. It's with Charlotte, and I want to keep it that way until further, you know. But obviously, it's nice to hear those things because, you know, like, what you're doing is good. And obviously, there's bigger markets, there's more markets around the world, and you don't know what can happen in the next months, year or so. But for me, I just want to focus here, but it's nice to hear those things. And I think now is just for me to just stay focused on what I can control, because when you hear these things, it could completely shift your mind to thinking this, and that. But ultimately, I want to be my best here and play my best football. And the only way I can do that is by focusing with
So
Charlotte.
how do you keep that focus? What are you doing to, you know, block out the outside noise and, and really focus on your own self?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's easier said than done. Obviously, you hear things about yourself, and it's cool to hear those things. But for me, I just want to really, you know, I know if things work out, maybe there's a chance for me to go somewhere else. And obviously, you grow up as a kid. Like for me, I said this before. You grow up as a kid, like people want to play in Europe and these things, and these big divisions and big, the Champions Leagues and all these leagues and cups, you know. But for me, it's obviously I like to focus on the now, and it's just day by day.
The other day I saw the team posted a clip. You had a GoPro on, you were laughing, you were dancing.
Yeah.
It seems like you bring a lot of joy into everything, whether it's just a silly little social media video or playing with, you know, your teammates, having your goal celebrations.
Yeah.
Why do you feel it's so important to keep that joy of the game wherever you are?
Yeah, I just like to express myself, and I think with my teammates, they know who I am, they know my personality, they know I'm like a goofball sometimes and all these things. And I think for me, it's a way to show who I am as a person on the field, and then with the fans, you know, when I celebrate and all these things, it's to show my personality to them as well. Because ultimately, like when we score, we want to celebrate with them. And I don't like to just run back, you know, I want to express that. And I do that all the way because I grew up watching that, you know, seeing players that I watched in World Cups and all these things, doing these dances and all these things, like I want to do that as well. So
do you pre-plan them? What is your method? I guess when you're like, all right, I feel good. I feel like I'm gonna score today. So like, let's go through the Rolodex.
Yeah. No, I just have them. You know, you have it in your head. You have an idea of what you want to do, and when the goal comes, then you just like, all right, let's do it. Like, might as well. Yeah. So I try to stay composed with it as well, and just have fun and make it look nice.
It's obvious that you've become a fan favorite here in the city for this club. What do you take from the reaction from the Charlotte FC supporters who come out match after match and support you, support the whole club?
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I would have never thought that this is how Charlotte fans are. And for me, I'm just so happy because they allow us to play so well. I'm telling you, like, every time we play home, I feel like I can never stop running. I can just keep going because their fan is like, the way they support us is so electric and allows us to play beyond like what we can do. You know, sometimes it gives us the extra push. It's like the 12th man. They're our 12th man all the time. So we're definitely thankful for them. I'm thankful for them. They support me all the way. I see like sometimes they're backing me. They fight for me in comments and all these things. It's like the little things are just so funny to me. But when you see it, it's like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's cool because sometimes you're just scrolling and then you see something and then someone says your name. You're like, these guys, like they really support me. You know, they really think I can do all these things. And you know, when you see that with your fan base, like they support you that way. Like obviously, I back myself. I always know I can do what I can do. But when you see your fan base saying the same thing, it's great to see, and it just gives you more confidence to keep going.
Yeah. So just to circle back again to something we spoke about earlier was that, as we were saying, your rise to be where you are is being very well documented. People are saying meteoric and it's this crazy rise, but you know that's not how it was, right? It's not just this overnight sensation. Can you just explain, like, from your perspective, what it really took to be where you are today?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, I think it was just timing. I think it was gonna be at some point that my ability and who I am as a person was gonna shine at some point. It just needed the right exposure. I think each stage of myself, like each time as I went, I was able to show myself. When I went to Division 3, I showed myself there. When I went to Division 1, showed myself there. The showcase before getting drafted, show myself there. Next pro, show myself there. You know, it's just each step. It was just timing, and I knew at some point I would have the support and I would have like people looking at me like, oh, this guy could play. You know, I just knew at some point, but It just had to come when it was right, and it finally did. And I think now it's just building off that, because for me, I don't want it to be like, oh, this guy just did this one time. I want it to be, okay, he could play, and this is what he does.